Imagine a world where the heart-wrenching ending of Furious 7 never happened. Before Paul Walker's tragic death in 2013, the film was slated for a completely different finale, one that might have changed the entire trajectory of the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, a new book by Barry Hertz, Welcome to the Family, pulls back the curtain on this alternate reality, revealing a version of the movie that feels both familiar and shockingly foreign. Paul Walker's sudden passing in a high-speed car accident during a charity event sent shockwaves through Hollywood. As a passenger in a vehicle traveling at over 100 miles per hour, his death left the Furious 7 production reeling. With filming already underway, the filmmakers faced an impossible challenge: how to honor Walker's legacy while completing the film. The solution? A blend of ingenuity and emotion, using Walker's brother and cutting-edge VFX to craft a heartfelt send-off for his character, Brian O'Connor. The result? The iconic scene where Brian and Dominic Toretto drive side by side, parting ways to the tune of Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth's See You Again. It was a moment that tugged at heartstrings and cemented Walker's place in cinematic history. But here's where it gets fascinating: Furious 7 was originally scripted with a vastly different ending. According to Hertz's book, via ActionNews.com, the 2015 blockbuster, which raked in over $1.5 billion worldwide, was initially set to conclude with a celebration at Neptune's Net, the Malibu seafood spot where Brian and Dom first bonded. The team, having successfully retrieved the God's Eye device from Jason Statham's villainous Deckard Shaw, would have returned to this nostalgic location. But instead of handing the device over to Kurt Russell's enigmatic Mr. Nobody, Dom would have crushed it under his boot, declaring it too dangerous for any one person to control. The crew would then have roared off into the sunset, with Dom crumpling a congressional commendation and tossing it out the window as the credits rolled. It's a bold, defiant ending that would have solidified their outlaw status, and one that sparks a question: would this version have been more true to the franchise's roots? And this is the part most people miss. Hertz reveals that the team's next adventure was to be decided by chance, with a knife thrown at a map to let fate choose their destination. It's a whimsical touch that feels both spontaneous and fitting for this family of misfits. But the theatrical cut we know took a different path, leaving the God's Eye intact, a decision that would later haunt Dom and his crew in the fate of the Furious and Fast X. Was this a missed opportunity, or a necessary pivot to keep the franchise's narrative alive? The alterations didn't stop there. Plans to legitimize Dom and his crew as full-fledged heroes were scrapped, keeping them firmly in the outlaw camp. While Walker's death undoubtedly influenced these changes, it's unclear if the story would have evolved differently even if Brian's arc had been allowed to continue. It's a tantalizing what if that invites fans to speculate on the road not taken. As work continues on the 11th and final Fast and Furious installment, rumors swirl about whether Brian O'Connor will make an appearance. Given the franchise's penchant for nostalgia and emotional callbacks, it's a safe bet that Walker's character will have some presence, even if it's just in spirit. But should the franchise revisit the original ending's themes of defiance and fate? Or is it better to leave the past where it lies? About the author. A passionate storyteller with a love for comics, film, WWE, and F1, this Rotten Tomatoes approved critic and comicbookmovie.com's top contributor brings a unique blend of fandom and expertise to every piece. Whether dissecting blockbuster endings or celebrating the legacy of beloved actors, their work is always a labor of love.